Hello, Arjuna, and thank you for doing this interview with us today.
Oh, of course, my friend. Always.
Thank you also. You offered your book for free over the Easter weekend so people could download it. I want to tell you straight away that I'm getting reports back. Some people already bought your book and they're saying thank you, and lots of people are downloading it over here in Australia, and it's been very welcomed.
Cool. Cool. I
Um,
just want, I would love to make a lot of money from writing books, but most importantly, I want people to read it, and I've thought what a nice way to, well, get people to read it, maybe help out as well. So,
yeah. Can you tell me how you got into meditation in the first place?
it was my swimming coach when I was about 15. I was competitive swimmer, and he was always mind over matter, mind over body. It's all mental attitude. It's all what thoughts you pay attention to. It's always your attitude. And
Hmm.
he would suggest he would suggest trying to clear my mind, like just turn it into a blank slate, which of course was impossible. But you know, with his encouragement and all that talk, it just led me to explore the sort of the mental aspects of being in a body.
Hmm.
I recognized when this place was in a good, when my head was aligned, my swimming was excellent. When something was missing and I didn't have the words for it, but when there was a piece of the puzzle out, just one piece, everything would fall apart. So yeah, through him, I became really aware of just the power of the mind and how, that state of flow. I'm sure, because we've talked about this a lot, but that sense of just being so absorbed into something, the sense of self disappears, and it becomes supremely, almost effortless. Like everything clicks, And so early on, I got a taste of all of that, and both the highs and the lows, and so wanting to avoid the lows and grab the highs, I sort of kept sniffing at meditation.
Did you try many other things like leading up to meditation? Or were you getting that high from your swimming or sports, or how did that play out for you?
Well, yeah, I tried a lot of things really, and I started doing yoga,
Mm.
and so the breathing, the really intentional, deep, parasympathetic breathing, and found that worked extraordinary just to really center me and bring me back to that place of perfection that I knew so well.
Mm.
Um, I at university I studied psychology, so I started, but at the same time I got into a few Buddhist texts and saw the real links between sports psychology, social psychology, the psychology of groups and culture, and what the Buddhists were saying thousands and thousands of years ago. These yogis were saying too, and so I was kind of dipping into there. Um, at university, I tried psychedelic drugs, which really showed me a whole different aspect of the world and myself. And so really, I was just looking to be that good version of me, that peaceful, alive, courageous version of me. And really, whatever, I was just looking, searching, the classic, let's
Yeah.
give everything a shot. So, yeah.
Yeah, I totally relate. It's very similar for me. So you obviously found something that really worked for you. How long have you been a monk now, or teaching?
Since 2003.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, when I learned Ascension, it was like, oh, right, this is it. Boom. And, I had a fear, I had a doubt that it wasn't everything that I hoped it would be.
Mhm.
So there was always that, but it was very much a case of following my nose and practicing, and the people I met, and each step just seemed to be more and more affirming of, yes, this is absolutely what I had hoped for.
So you obviously teach Ascension, um, and being an Shire monk, that's your main gig. But I know that you're not only teaching Ascension, you teach other stuff where you share other techniques with people and different sorts of people. Can you tell us a bit about that? Like different backgrounds, you know? I heard you
Yeah,
with military, you do something for the military and maybe the police, and you do some private sessions as well, I'm aware of. Can you
yeah,
tell us a little bit about that?
yeah. Well, my love is teaching Ascension. I think it's the greatest technique for peace, centeredness, moving beyond the mind, for discovering who someone really is. There's nothing better. It's the highest thing I could ever give anybody, and really everything else is a way of supporting teaching that.
Mm.
um, I would, before I did what you were talking about, before I did that, I was working in an office, and it really wasn't. I was working for the Department for Education, just doing sort of data entry, and it was fine. It was money to come in, but it really wasn't allowing me to do what I love to do,
Mm.
and so I just looked at different ways I could share what I've learned through Ascension um, to other people. And one of those groups is the bomb disposal units here in the UK, which has been so cool because, you know, when you teach a first fair, people are looking for something. They may be skeptical and, you know, they may they're checking us out as a Shires, but they're wanting something. They've set aside a whole weekend and they've come. Yet with these military courses, they were very much like, you know, very polite, but very much like, convince us that you have something of value, which made me get really clear on the role of stillness and presence, of the mind, emotions. It allowed me to get, well, it required me to get very, very precise in saying, do A and you get the result. And so it was a big challenge, but it's still a challenge. But being able to speak someone else's language, learning that was
Mm.
super powerful. But you know, there's so many mindfulness things and meditation techniques out there, and especially in my old yoga circles, it can be so easy to think, well, they're all the same. You know, they result in the same thing, and I don't think that's true. I don't think it's true. What I do for the military and athletes and things is cool, but it's without hesitation. If someone came to me and said, you know, give me what you've got, absolutely learn Ascension.
Mm.
I don't know if that answered your question. I think I went around the villages there a little bit.
No, that's okay, man. I was just interested in, you know, at the moment we can't teach Ascension. You know, everyone's in isolation and we're in lockdowns and stuff. And I've been really aware that there's people out there that might be now looking at things a little bit differently. I'm not sure, but there might be people who are going, "Oh, is the world actually how I thought? Like things are different now, and there's these things happening. I don't want to panic with everyone else." You know, that inner desire that you spoke of before, maybe that's starting to arise. And I guess what I was getting at with that question is all sorts of different people are learning ways and means. And at the moment, um, I'm wondering what ways and means we can share, you know, with people to help them get through certain times, you know.
Yeah.
And is there? So I got another question. Is there, for everyone that comes to you for support or to learn a technique or in whichever way, shape, or form, is there something common that you notice in each of those people that come to you seeking?
No, well, I mean, there is the real seekers, people who, and you know these because we probably were them, but the people who are desperate, like they're banging on your door saying, "I'm so sick and tired of my head. Give me something. Give me something so I can anchor myself in freedom in my true essence." And then you've got people who perhaps their partners have said, "You know what? You need to be a little less angry, or you need to work on your impatience, or you know you're not sleeping so well. Why don't you try meditation.
Mm.
So I don't think there is. I think there's a broad range of people, and that's the beauty of this is so many different people. But I tell you what, the guys, the military guys are often, and the sports people too, is often they're like, no, meditation's not for me. I don't want to lose my edge, right? And not often, but fairly regularly, the word aggression will come out. You know, I don't want to lose that controlled aggression. And it's fascinating. You know, the Alcoholics Anonymous, they have a prayer that says, give me the serenity to accept the things I can't. I have no control over, the things I can't change. And that's what, especially these guys, see meditation being as serenity, acceptance, being a doormat. And it's absolutely part of ascension. It's a part of this journey, is, you know, getting really clear on what we have zero control over. And this situation at the moment, the virus has thrown what we knew for certain, our expectations, our assumptions, way up in the air. It's really brought forth that, man, that we're not in control of a lot of the things we thought we were. But, you know, so many people see meditation as serenity, acceptance, patience, contentment, which it is, absolutely. But the other part of the prayer is, give me the courage to change the things that I can. Mm-hmm. And so it's balancing for me that serenity and showing them, yes, it is serenity. It's a very important part, but here's, look, it'll also give you things like focus and attention, energy, creativity, intuition, things so you can do the things that you want to do with less effort, more fun, without blowing a foo-foo valve when your controlled aggression spins out of space, without the necessity for getting stressed at all, with ending stress. And so that's, in terms of those guys, that's a common theme is like, well, no, meditation's no good for me. It will turn me into jello. But I'm saying, no, it's going to make you more than you already are. Yeah.
Would you say, that's a good lead into the next thing I was going to ask you? Would you say that life has to change to have an effective meditation practice?
Yeah. No, not at all. No. I thought it did. I was after a lifestyle. I was after the right keys to the right yoga practice, the right Tai Chi practice, the right diet. What did I do on the outside to gain peace? And it worked. You know, I knew if I did a certain breathing practice, after a while, it would bring my body into a certain place, and then from that, my mind would slow down. Then from that, my consciousness, my psyche could become more alive and tuned into that. But it was very much so many steps to finding presence and stillness. Whereas what the Ashayas said, and I went to them, I said, well, what do I have to do? I've learned ascension. Tell me how to live. Tell me how to live so I can experience peace. You know, I'll wake up at 4:30 in the morning and I'll practice if you tell me to. When's the stars aligned, and I'll jump into do something with that. You know, I'll be a vegan. I was a vegan at the time because I thought it was the spiritual. I thought it would give me peace. And I found I'd had it back to front. The internal, the sense of being, the sense of presence that we all are, that informs what you do on the outside in terms of your, what you eat, what you wear, what you do, what you enjoy, whether you have an interest in astrology or whether it's rugby. You know, it takes away the shoulds. That's what I used to say. Ascension gave me authenticity, the ability to just be absolutely okay with loving whitewater kayaking. And, you know, to me, astrology still doesn't make sense. It's just like, I'm sure it has an effect, but I'm not really interested in it. It dropped all the ideas that I should be different. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing is do you know what? Fundamentally, there's something wrong with me in the way I'm doing things. So let's look at everything on the outside. But if they nurture the foundation, the true foundation of being and presence, then that, coming back to the Alcoholics Anonymous prayer, will give them the wisdom to see what to do when. You get so present and you can meet the need of the moment as opposed to having an idea of, well, I should be like this. So everything's a lot more fresh, a lot more authentic, a lot more true, because you're connecting with the essence of a person or the situation or the moment. Not having an instruction manual to tell you how to do things.
What would you say to someone, like something I come across a bit is, you know, I want that. I want what you're sharing. That sounds amazing. And that resonates somehow with me. But maybe not in this circumstance. It's a bit tricky in this my particular circumstances at the moment, is one answer I might get. And another one I get is, oh yeah, I think I'm beyond, I want that, but I'm a bit beyond redemption, you know. But those sorts of, my dad actually said that. I hope he doesn't watch this. He actually said that. I'm like, no, you're not. Anyone can bring take on a practice, you know. There's never too late. There's only ever one moment. What would you say to those sorts of thoughts that might come up to prevent us, you know, experiencing and practicing something to move towards what you're sharing with us?
Yeah, well, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? That we, you know, and I saw it with my mum too. She said, "Oh, I'm just too old. I just can't do it. And this was with Ascension, but it was with a lot of different things. She just felt like she had too much historical baggage that she couldn't put down, that she was somehow the sum of her past experiences and her past choices and her, you know, and it was too late. And I was like, it's not too late. Just jump, just go, just try. You know, you've got a lot of life left in you. Just go, whether it's learning this new skill or practicing Ascension or whatever. But it's a big lesson to learn that you can be fresh and you empty yourself in each and every moment. And it's only the mind that says, no, I'm the sum of my history. And here's all the long list of bad things that I've done that I need to atone for. I'm a sinner. It comes back to our religion. Even the Buddhists will talk about karma and the fact that you've done a lot of bad and that will kick your ass further down the line. So unfortunately, Buddhahood is not for you right now. But all the Buddhas know, you know what, that's just an idea. And that in letting all that go and meeting the moment fresh, meeting presence fresh, all is forgiven. Like the original promise of God, the Christian God, is that you will be forgiven when you drop everything and enter the kingdom of heaven, enter the presence of the divine. There you are in your fullest, in your completeness. And so it's a huge lesson. And I just keep encouraging people just to be present, just to take one small step. Sure, just let it go just for now. You can pick it up later. You can pick your past up, but for now, just appreciate what you have here, who you are, beyond the senses, beyond the eyes that are looking, beyond the ears that are hearing this. What is that like? That sense of being, that sense of inner awareness. And enjoy that just for now, just for now. As Manu says, you know, our friend and colleague, simply assume that this is the only moment you have, and let it be enough. Let it be complete. Don't go looking for anything else. Let it come to you. And if you want to pick up your history and all those, you know, the ideas that you need to atone for something, you can do that later. But let's just enjoy this. You know, take a load off. Put your feet up. So, but it's a huge thing, you know. We chastise ourselves constantly for real and imagined wrongdoing, and at some point you got to let all that go. You got to put it down. It's you learn from it, sure, but it's not serving anyone to carry it. So, but it's a big conversation, eh? Like I'm sure you had with your dad.
Well, yeah, for sure. And you know, my own experience as well. like one of the things I was going to ask you is meditation for everybody? And I think you've already answered that really well so far. If there's anything more, excuse me, you can add that. But sometimes, like myself, and I've met other people, you find yourself in groups where the concept of meditation is a little bit woo-woo, or it's a bit, you know, and I've even, you know, having that really strong desire all my life too, been in the kind of hippie crowd, you know, and forgive me if this is judgy, but I've been around people that had the right clothes, you know, the flowy clothes and the feathers and stuff. And it was sort of like, look at me, I'm meditating in this correct posture and stuff. And I'll be honest, like I developed some attitudes there about it. I'm like, no, that's not for me. Like it didn't resonate with the part of me that was looking, if that makes sense, you know? So what I'm hearing you saying is it's for anybody and it's for everyone. And there might be people out there practicing something else, but it's really important to find something that sings to you, that speaks to you, that is going to actually help you find what it is you want. Yeah. And that's some of the things I just wanted to say I really liked about your book. I got it in the paper version. I think it was last year when it came out. And I'm not a huge reader, I'll be honest. But I found your book simple, practical, and funny. So I read it within days. I thought it was fantastic. Let me see if I had another question. Actually, I had a question from somebody. Sorry?
Can I talk to that?
Yes, please.
Yeah, you know, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and because in me attempting to learn the language of people in the military and people in business and athletes, it's kind of, although I have my toe there, it's kind of, okay, what can I learn? What are these people listening to? What's the language, you know? And I was hearing one guy saying, I know meditation is good for me, but I know meditation's supposed to be good, but it's not for me. Mm-hmm. And what I thought was you just haven't found the right technique. You haven't had it explained to you in a way that connects yet. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's someone with a feather in their hair who's just been so ungrounded as floating off into space, and you're going, I don't want that. but for me, it's like saying exercise isn't for me, or good food is not for me. Of course it is. You just haven't found the thing that you enjoy. You haven't found the food that you love, or the exercise that really, you know, brings you alive. And so, yeah, what you said about, I think meditation is a technique that allows you to regain or remember something about yourself that has always been there, that you've always done. And it was so apparent with my 3-year-old daughter that she just, every now and then, she just stops and zones out. And she's not really zoning out. She's just tuning in. She's just letting go and arriving in presence and stillness. And I see kids doing that all the time. And, you know, their teachers and their parents are saying, wake up, you know, stop daydreaming. And as opposed to this kind of do culture that we have, do get, what's new, what's coming, what's happening. By necessity, it needs to be balanced with this being and stopping and stepping back from it all. That being, that presence needs to happen to enable you to do more, to do the right things. But yeah, I think it returns you to something you've always done and always known. So saying meditation isn't for me just says, well, that you just haven't, no one's told you, no one's shown you the right way or the way for you.
One of the other things that just pops to mind is that for me, I wouldn't have considered myself particularly innocent, you know, and may have delved in, you mentioned psychedelics. So in search, and also for some semblance of relief, I went into all sorts of different things, you know, and I found it, what you were just sharing there was resonated with me and quite inspiring, because I found that for myself, never too far gone, you know, and of course anybody can access that. There isn't some past, you mentioned karma before, there isn't some past that's going to hold me accountable or be an actual real barrier to me becoming more me. not becoming the person with the feather in there and in the hair, and they're cool, not becoming something else, but actually just what it is that I have to bring. And that seems really simple when I say those words, you know. But it's something that I get a lot of inspiration out of, you know, because for me, if I can find more peace in my life, then I'm pretty sure any single person I ever come across can. And that's a really cool place to share from.
Oh yeah. It's just so apparent that the thing that stops us being us, the full version of us, is an idea that I have done something wrong. I am wrong. I need to fix myself. I need to present a certain image. I need to work out the right way of living and doing things. And then I can get on with the act of being me. But when you drop all those ideas and just say, and just live freely, like you said, in innocence, that freshness of, what does this moment need? What do I want to do right here, right now, without that idea that I could do something wrong, that I am wrong? It is so freeing, and it enables everybody else to be so free too, because they're meeting someone without a mask, without an image, without a script that they're reading. They're meeting someone who's honest and true and open, and nothing to prove, nothing to hide, you know. And it's such a powerful thing, as like you were talking about. It's so powerful, and it's available to anyone, regardless of the mistakes that we've made in the past. It's okay, like I said, learn from them, but there's no need to dwell on them. Without our mistakes, we wouldn't learn anything, would we?
Yeah.
Someone once said to me, success is a very poor teacher. If you do things right all the time, you don't actually learn anything. You don't actually grow. It's by falling on our asses and making a fool of ourselves and letting ourselves down that we go, actually, that shapes us, that brings us up. And so unfortunately, making mistakes and being an idiot is part of growing.
Yeah.
But we have this idea, we're chasing perfection, right? Everybody has this idea, I'm chasing the perfect me, which at the top of the mountain. And when I get there, then I can truly start living. And chasing perfection is a tough road, because everything is either right or wrong, as opposed to, that's an interesting experience. That's something I can learn from and grow from, continually letting go into deeper and deeper presence, deeper and deeper being. Yeah.
So your book is called 200%, an instruction manual for living fully?
Yeah, well done.
What can you tell us? What 200%? How can you be 200%? What do you mean there?
Yeah, you could, referring back to the Alcoholics Anonymous prayer, you could refer it to the worlds of serenity and courage, between being and doing, between the worlds of enough and more. It seems like the spiritual world is so focused on contentment, serenity, acceptance, enough, and that's it. That's the spiritual bubble. And then the doing, achieving world is so based on more. What's next? What's coming? What's building? What's new? And both of them are just two different parts: peace and performance. And people pick one, pretty much. You know, we as kids we kind of learn that, okay, I've got to pick one. Do I want peace or do I want performance? Do I want to do something? And so they'll jump. You get the monks in the cave who take vows of celibacy and hide away, and then you get the people who think stress is a necessary mechanism to getting things done. That losing a family because you're impatient and angry and never there because you're working so hard is the way that you make a difference in the world. Or, you know, it becomes so contrasting. And what I wanted to do, 200%, which is an Ashaya concept really, is join those two worlds together. You could refer to it, the world of peace and enough, as the inner game. And then the outer game of what you do with that foundation of clarity and contentment. but I really wanted to say that they're not two separate things. You need both. There's so many entrepreneurs and athletes and, guys in the military too, who are like donuts. They may have everything, their career's going well, perhaps they've managed to balance their family life. They've got the stuff, the toys, the money, and yet, like a donut, it looks great on the outside, but there's a whopping great hole in the middle. And I've met so many people, myself included, who have ticked everything off on their to-do list, to get list, on their success list, and it's not making them happy. It's not giving them that feeling of fulfillment and contentment. Of course, momentarily bursts of yes, of achieving, of setting a goal and achieving it. Yeah, I've got that. But then they're left with, now what? What's my life about? I thought this was supposed to give me a full stop. I thought this was supposed to give me some feeling of fulfillment, and it's not. So I warn people all the time about that. I mean, Tony Robbins, who's the big success coach, big business coach, the US guy. Have you heard of him?
I've heard the name. Yeah, he does like talks with lots of people. Is that?
Yeah.
Like seminars? Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing if you want to check him out sometime. But he tells a story about some banker, and he lost, I think he was Germany's richest man, and he lost 4 billion euros in some financial catastrophe in the space of a very short time. 4 billion euros, right? He was so distraught he committed suicide. He killed himself. His money, he felt like his life wasn't worth living. The true tragedy was he was still worth 9 billion euros.
Whoa.
He had so much money, yet he was so focused on a small part of it. And I think that's an indicator of that world of achievement, is how fragile that is. I talk about my book about Sylvester Stallone and how he thought what he wanted from life would be achieved through being rich and famous. And the more rich and famous he got, the more unhappy he was, really. And he looked around and realized that his friends and acquaintances were probably more miserable than the guy in the street with nothing. So, yeah, what I wanted to say is, and peace alone is not enough too. We've all met plenty of people, like I talk about in my book, about the guy who spent years and years in India studying with just a bowl and a woolen blanket to keep him company. And he gets home to Amsterdam and just freaks out, just loses his peace completely. His peace is conditional on the world looking a certain way. So both 200% for me is the necessity of having your peace, but doing what you feel drawn to do to make a difference in the world as well.
Super cool, man.
That was a long-winded answer, wasn't it?
Great one. I'm gonna change this up a little because I had a question come in from someone.
Oh, cool.
So my kids who are 5 to 6 years old are going crazy at the moment. What can I do? Have you taught kids, and can they learn any tools as well?
Yeah.
It's a 3-part question.
Can they learn ascension specifically? Absolutely. But we need to teach it heart to heart, person to person. It's the way it is. Can they learn other mindfulness, calming, breathing techniques? Of course, yeah. And I'm sure just a quick Google, you'll find kids yoga or kids mindfulness or kids breathing, calming stories for kids, all of that stuff. It's a tough time, especially if your house or your apartment isn't big. All of a sudden everybody's under one roof and there's no room to move, and it's we're not used to that. But I know for sure the more calm that you are, the more calm they will be. Big kids being kids, they'll run around like little monsters and not listen to you and destroy the place. But kids especially reflect our mood very well. If you're calm and considered and patient and definite, all of those things, then they will be too. And it's just a case of, one of the greatest advice someone gave me about being a parent was saying, don't be afraid to say sorry. It's probably one of the greatest things that you can do is let them know that you made a mistake and you're doing your best. So there's a host of things there. But is it easy? No. I mean, we're fortunate because we've got a sheep paddock outside. We can just go for a run around the sheep and, no deal. But the people are trapped in tiny apartments or small houses. I'm sure it's tough. It's not easy. But here's the other thing, the shift in attitude that I really like is the question, is this happening to me or is this happening for me? Whenever I'm stuck with something, usually with my daughter, because she's a little firecracker like I'm sure I am, she shows me about resistance. When I have an idea of this is my plan, this is what I want to do, and we're going to do it now, she'll just go the opposite direction. So I can fight her and scream and yell and grab her and physically throw her in the pushchair, which is only going to work for so long because she's going to grow up. Or I can go, okay, how do I adapt? How do I change? How do I speak the language of her so we both have a win-win situation? Obviously there are times when they need to know right now, this is dangerous, you stop right now, but that's rare. That's rare. But when I embrace life as happening for me, as everything's happening for me, so I can learn to be more still, more considered, more serene, but more courageous, then it just makes the whole picture easier. I'm not being put upon. When I believe life is happening to me, that there's with that question that you get when you're shaking your fist at the sky going, why is this happening? It just means I've moved, I've shifted out of alignment, and I need to take a deep breath or 10 and step into another mode of being.
Cool.
But yeah, good luck.
I'll pass it on.
Yeah. But you get to see what's truly important, with kids is the place being pristine. Is that truly important? Or maybe it's a wreck. There's toys everywhere. There's crayons, that you're standing on umbrellas, but you're calm and peaceful and actually having a good time. What's truly important? And here in this house, we've let it go several million times and then done a quick tidy up later on, when we felt like they had the energy. But I know so many parents who feel like they need to be perfect and keep on top of all the chores, as well as being the teacher and the homeschooler and the parent and it's just work out what's truly important to you and throw the rest away. Let that go on the back burner and get back to that when you have a bit of energy to do it. But yeah,
kids need to get their energy out, don't they? Sometimes they need to move that energy that they've got. Maybe that's a little bit tricky, like you said, someone who's maybe stuck in an apartment and can't get out enough, but yeah. So did you have something else there?
No, I'm just going, good luck. I don't know what's coming.
So this is rapid fire question time. Are you ready?
Ready.
So I'm going to ask a series of questions. You're going to give me your first answer straight up. What color would your hair be right now if you had some?
It'll be slightly dark blonde. It goes dark in winter. With a tinge of red.
Is New Zealand or Australia better?
Oh, they're different. To me, Australia is like beaches and vineyards and deep canyons and desert, the big expanse in the middle there. New Zealand's lush and beaches, yes, but more wilder, and mountains and snow and rivers and. Yeah.
I'm hearing Australia. Just no, I love New Zealand. It's true. What is your favourite quote? I know you're a quote man. What's your favourite one?
Oh, well, first one to mind is when you were born, you cried and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice.
Wow. Nice one. What is your favourite hobby during a pandemic?
During a pandemic? Cooking.
Cooking. Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah, I have because all of my face-to-face courses have been cancelled. I feel like I've got so much more mental space and energy to try all those recipes that have been saved. When you're reading a book, you go, oh, that sounds good, but I'll get onto that later. So now I've got all kinds of scope for, cooking all these different recipes and things. So it's been fun.
Which superhero would you marry?
Would I marry?
Mm-hmm.
Yikes. I was the first one. First one that came to head was Thor. It looks like it'd be a hoot.
If you had 6 arms, what would you do with them all?
Do you know what? Having a 3-year-old and a baby, that would be easy. I mean, a couple of hands would be cooking. One would be holding a baby. One would be reading a book to my 3-year-old, and the other one would be, I don't know, getting on writing my second book.
Good one. That led me nicely into my next question. How are your kids and wife, your amazing kids and wife?
How are they, or how old are they?
How are they?
They're spectacular. Yeah, she May 3. She's just so full of fun and life, and as I said, she teaches me a lot about being a better dad, a better person every single day. And every single day, I'm reminded that I'm not guaranteed to see her grow up. I don't want to sound that morbid, but I want to make the most of today. I don't want to be grumpy and impatient with her because it's a waste of time. Sure, if she needs to know something, I need to tell her, but I don't want to hold on to anything. I want to make sure she has a fun, adventurous, kind, giving upbringing, and so she teaches me so much about being a better human. And my little boy, he's just a baby. He's 6 weeks old. He's just throwing his arms everywhere, puking up and eating and nappies, and so it's we're looking after him. I just can't wait till he gets a bit more eye contact and more interactive. Yeah. And my wife's great. She's spectacular. I mean, she's looking after Zachary, feeding him every hour or something like that, every night through the night. And she was quite sick in her pregnancies, but she's getting better and better and better. So, yeah.
Cool. That's great to hear.
You know what? Just an aside to that, I never thought I'd wanted a family. When I'm 46, I think. And so it's quite late, I guess, in many ways to have kids, but I never wanted them until I met Sumati and it all started to unfold. And then it was like, I don't know what I could be without them now. It's such a thing.
That's amazing, man. Awesome. I had one other. Sorry, no, you go.
Something to be said for being open and not to, nope, this is the way it is.
Yeah.
Things change, don't they?
Sure do. My world certainly has. I had one other question come in from someone, a friend, who wanted to ask you a question, and I thought it was a good closer. So I'll ask you this one, and if you had anything else. He asks, if you could say one thing to humanity right now, what would it be?
Just relax, stay calm, be kind. This is happening for you. It's not happening to you. It's so you can be a better person, so you can enjoy each and every moment life brings you. It's a big reminder that we're not in control, that there's, as much as we want to be, as much as we like to be, we don't have the control that we do. So living life like that is so much more enjoyable, so much less stressful. When you let go of control, it allows you, ironically, to do more, but from a place of not force, but from, the teacher MSI would talk about the aligning with natural flow, aligning with what wants to happen. And that's a tricky dance for people who are used to bashing their way through life.
Mm.
But again, it doesn't mean not doing anything. It just means knowing when you're trying to bash down a door that is firmly locked while the one that's standing open is just next to you. The importance of stepping back and going, well, that one didn't work, but oh, look, here's something else. Yeah. That started to sound a bit hippie-ish, but
You've got no hair to put a feather in, man.
but yeah, just keep calm, really work out what we're in control of and what we're not. It's never the thing, it's always our reaction to it.
Mm.
And if you've heard of Viktor Frankl, the guy, the psychotherapist who lived through Nazi Germany and the concentration camps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's always such an inspiration, because he said even in the concentration camps, no one can take away your freedom. You always have the freedom of deciding your own attitude, your own way in life. And no matter the circumstances of life, concentration camp, nasty virus, anything, no one can take away your freedom. And if people can learn that from this situation, then wonderful. Wonderful. I suspect that, I hope, who knows, but people will learn that they actually don't need a lot of the things that they thought they needed. They can still enjoy them, but really the fundamental nature of all humans is the existence, the moment by moment experience of being alive is such a beautiful gift, and one that's so often forgotten in the chase for the next goal, for more, for the future. And something that, harking back to the bag of karma, something, our existence requires no payment. It's a given. It's a literal gift from God. And hopefully people will align with that and enjoy it and live their lives from that more and more. So that's what I see, that in any unwelcome or unexpected event, it's almost like big brother, big sister, our guardian angel, whoever is sort of just gently tapping us on the shoulder, or sometimes slapping us in the face to say, hey, there's so much more there's so much more to life, and so much that you're missing out on. And the simple fact of your existence and presence is one of them. So yeah, that's what I would say to everybody.
It certainly seems to me that there's a lot of opportunities. There's always a lot of opportunities. And I'd just like to thank you, Arjuna, for this opportunity to talk to you today as well, and to come on, and also thank you again for sharing your book, putting it out there for free for this weekend. That's amazing, man. Thank you.
Oh, Arkiri, you're awesome. Thank you. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to run my mouth off for an hour. And I hope people enjoy the book. I really loved writing it, and I hope it helps people. I really do.